Hello everyone, this is Keniera and welcome to my tutorial in Inventor Professional 2018 about the function Coil. Now, Coil is the function that you want to use if you want to create springs, spirals, or any helical kind of forms. As you can see in the preview video, you can see that what you need to make is a form and refer it to a center line, a center axis. So let's try and get started with it. I'm going to start a 2D sketch on an XY plane here, and then I'm going to make a circle because most springs are circular formed. So I'm going to give it 3 millimeters. And the first thing I need to do is I need to make sure that this circle, like the center of the circle, is constrained to the origin or horizontal. So I'm going to use a constraint here, horizontal constraint, click on the center point here and on the origin. So it's completely locked to the origin horizontally. Right. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make a point, and then I'm going to click on it like right here, and also use the horizontal constraint to lock it horizontally to the origin. And then I'm going to use a dimension on the point to the origin, and this is basically going to be my inner radius, because what you need to be aware why I'm saying inner radius is because when this goes around like the center axis that is supposed to be lying around here, it will basically revolve around it. So you have to kind of think this as another form to use a revolve. It's just called coil. So yeah. So let's make this, I don't know, 35. That was a bit too much. Let's make this 50. There we go. Right? And then I'm going to say finish sketch, because we actually don't need any more than that. Right? Then I'm going to use the coil tool, and it already selected the profile. It's basically the circle. And now it's asked for an axis. So we have to go into the origin here, find the axis that goes upwards. It should be, no, not this one. The y-axis here, like this. So right now it's basically trying to tell us, okay, we know that this is the form, and this is the axis I want to go upwards on. So now it made one revolve around the center axis in a height. So what we can do now is we can go into the coil size, and we can control the pitch and revolution, or the revolution height, or pitch and height. So if we say, like, for instance, okay, let's try and change the pitch. That's basically the distance from the center here to the center here. That's 10 millimeters. And the revolution tells itself it's going like one way around 360 degrees around the center axis. So if I want more, I can say 5, for instance. If I want a different pitch, we can say 25. So it looks more like the spring has been sort of released instead of compressed. We can go into revolution and height, and then we can say, okay, we got like, I don't know, 10 revolutions to a total distance of 100 millimeters. Then it calculates how what the pitch is going to be out from that. We can also do something called taper. If I make a taper, you can sort of see that it looks like it's tilting 25 degrees. So it looks like more like a spiral now. I'm just gonna leave this as 0, and I think I'm gonna leave it as that. So as you can see, it's basically going like it looks like a spring now. So you can actually use this for some pretty neat stuff if you want to like create some really cool necklace or something like that. You can try and use the coil tool. Another thing I want to show that you can use the coil tool for, and that's actually pretty cool, is you can also use the function to cut into objects. So right now I'm going to create a new circle. I'm going to make a tube like this. Give this 2 millimeters, and I'm going to extrude this with 100 like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start a 2D sketch, and then I'm going to select the right plane and go to the XZ plane here like this. So right now, if I'm going to draw something into this, I can't see what I'm doing. So if I press the F7 button, I'm basically making it cut through any material so I can see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a form that's basically going to cut through everything here. And I think I'm just gonna use a rectangle, and I'm just gonna draw a rectangle here. Give it, I don't know, 5 millimeter thickness. Just drag it like so. You can see that the boundaries of the rectangle is going through the material, because if I just gonna lay it like on the edges here, it won't cut through everything. So that's just something you need to be aware of. It's a little annoying little thing, but once you get used to it, it's something that you can easily go through. So I'm going to write 20 here, and let's just say 8 here. Yes. Then I'm going to make a distance from here 10 millimeters. That sounds fair, right? Gonna say finish sketch and use the coil function. And instead of joining, I want to cut instead. And then I'm gonna make the use the y-axis here. And I'm going to use revolution and height. I'm going to use, let's say it was 100, so I need to have 10 here and 10 there. That means that the height is supposed to be like 80. And let's make 2 revolutions like this. So as you can see now, I basically cut a spiral in my tube. So yeah, that's also a cool little function. And then, of course, if you say, okay, I really don't want those edges here, I can use like a fillet, 2.5 here, and like make them round instead, so it's looking a little bit more presentable. This and this, and press OK. So yeah, this is basically it. There's not much to it, as you can see. Just make a form like circle or square or a polygon, and refer it to a center point, and then use the coil function to tell how much it's going to revolve and what's the pitch and what's the height it's going to be. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. And if you really like what you see and say, hey, I actually want to help this YouTuber with a little donation, then look in the description. I got a little Ko-Fi link that you can click on and donate some Ko-Fis if you want to do that. So thanks for tuning, and I see you until then.